You prioritize at this moment what is number one I have to do. Right? Meaning, if the child is crying, screaming, I'm in my salah, obligation salah. What does Islam tell me? If you have an access to the child, pick up the child, right? If you don't have an access to the child, stop your salah and go and take care of your child. Now this is salah. But what Allah is teaching me, priority.
How does Dr. Haifaa do it all? All the different hats that you wear. Do you ever feel that there are so many different roles you have to balance?
Welcome to my life. Definitely sometimes, like in the morning, you're a hat of physician, and then you're a hat of the executive director of JI, then you're a hat of a teacher, then you're a hat of a student of knowledge, then you have the hat of student of Quran, and then you have the hat of a family. All of us actually, it's not only me, it is everybody Allah created on this earth. He has given them more than one hat. The first hat we all have and we all share is we're a human being. And number two hat, before getting even to gender and age, and the second hat we have is that we are His servants. So if everybody change the concept of me, what hat I am, to a one hat only, this is how I actually, back to your question, my main hat is I'm the servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if He puts me in the morning, let's say as a physician in seeing a patient, well, I'm a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So how I'm gonna be the servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala under this hat? So I do whatever I need to do, but the focus is Him. Then let's say I am having a meeting with the Jannah Institute staff. I'm still a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How I'm gonna serve Him? Then let's say I'm having a class teaching. Again, a servant. And as the day goes on. So the same thing, because this is a very common question. I think this is the most common question I get from women. Is how do I or them do it all? Or I feel I am overwhelmed, or I feel I can't. So the thing is, there's a statement to Imam Ibn Ata al-Sakandari, and if everybody learned this one, the life would be very different. He said in Arabic, قومي حيث أقامك الله, or قم حيث أقامك الله. Stand up where Allah wants you to stand up, or stand up where Allah made you stand up. It's a very deep statement. So when Allah put you as a mother, because this is how it is, woman, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a full-time employee, right? And I am a woman, I want to take care of myself. And I want to please Allah, and I want to study. And then the moment you start counting, you get overwhelmed. You didn't even start anything. So forget the numbers. So in this moment, this day, this year, where did He put you number one? For example, if you are pregnant, so you're pregnant, meaning you're a servant of Allah in the pregnant state. So I'm not going to expect I am going to do what if I'm not pregnant, I'm going to do, because there's a limited ability in me. But that doesn't mean I am not a servant of Allah, or I am not pleasing Him the way He wants. So apply this on everything. Because what happens is, let's say a woman deliver a baby and she decided she doesn't want to work anymore. How do we look at her? Oh, you stayed home? Why? You know what I'm saying? And then she starts feeling guilty. Now she wants to go out and work. Again, I'm not talking about people who need to work. I'm talking about people, their choices. We don't need to make others feel, or we feel less in where Allah put us, because I am serving Him. So if Allah put me, again, if I'm in the kitchen cooking, preparing meal for dinner, that doesn't mean I am less than when I'm seeing a patient in my office. Could be, Allah knows, I am more pleasing to Allah in that kitchen, preparing the meal for my children, and especially if I don't like it. My joy is not in cooking. People are different. But I'm doing it because that's what He wants me to do. Rest assured, your reward from Allah is way more, or I will say more, but at least not less than when I am seeing a patient in the office, because He put me at that moment as a mother, and He wants me to serve my family. But when I am in the office, I am a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the first thing is, where did He put you? Not only in the day, I mean, not only in the year or in the months, in the day itself. For example, when, let's say again, you came from work, you're a working woman, you came back from work. When you enter the house, now the shift moves from being a servant of Allah at work to a servant of Allah inside the house. Yes. And that's how it is. But what we want to do, we want to do it all. Yeah. And when we want to do it all, according to what we think is more important, Allah will say, okay, go and do it. And then we feel overwhelmed. So, and again, one. And second, which is extremely important, especially for women, is priority. You prioritize at this moment what is number one I have to do. Right? Meaning, if the child is crying, screaming, I'm in my salah, obligation salah. What does Islam tell me? If you have an access to the child, pick up the child, right? If you don't have an access to the child, stop your salah and go and take care of your child. Now this is salah. But what Allah is teaching me, priority. I don't feel sad. Why do I have a child? Why is he crying? No. Because when you stopped your salah, went to make sure your child is not, because when the child cries, he's in either pain for a reason.
Yes.
Then I took care of that child. I am a servant of Allah. I served him in the way he wanted me, not I want. I want to continue salah. But he doesn't want me. He made the child cry. Did you see this? Change the way of thinking, priority, and always the focus is not me or people. The focus is on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And becomes easier. I hope this makes sense. Including, I'm sorry, but this is very important, especially for women, including taking care of yourself. 100%. Because if I don't take care of myself, I'm going to get burned out. And I'm going to say, you know what, I can't do this. And what we see these days. So when I take 30 minutes, 1 hour a day, a lot of women feel guilty. Don't feel guilty. You're taking care of yourself, replenish yourself, rest so I can continue the journey.